What's going on, everybody? I am here with the man, Shayne Miller, and this is going to be his 2.0
new and improved
IBB video. New and improved, upgraded, maybe not even 2.0, but like 2 million.0. So obviously, behind the scenes, we've been chatting, and he's been through a lot. So I'm going to kind of let you bring everybody up to speed since last time we shot the video, and then we're going to talk about your top 3 ways to stay burn-proof in transitioning out of your traditional career, job, employee setting into the, this whole entrepreneur or actual, business owner world that you now live in. And cool. So
we have like 5 hours then?
This is gonna be a 5-day video. Yeah. So get food and shelter, and we'll get rolling here. But I like this, man. We got a little matching.
I know. I picked some up for you, didn't I? The one time I was there.
I didn't get one, man.
No.
Oof. It's okay. I get it all the time. People are like, I never got a team by me, please. I'm like, no. All right. So no, I would wait a lifetime for your gear, man.
Get you,
so
man.
let me know. I'll wear it every day. I'll wear it every day. So, but cool, awesome. Well, I'm going to shut up. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing more about.
First of all, I got to get taller.
There you go. All right. See,
there we go.
Key to business, level up. You got to get taller. Yeah, so tall people are always successful in business.
Yeah.
Or tall.
I don't really know if that might be a stat.
It's 100% never percent of the time. Every time. So, all right, cool. We're gonna be serious now. All right, go. Can we go?
The first thing that came to mind was Anchorman.
It was definitely Anchorman. Yeah.
Works every time.
If you want to be successful, watch Anchorman. All right, sorry.
Man. So yeah, so much has changed, right?
Yeah.
It's been 3 years, I think, since we've done this, or right about 3 years. I feel like it was cold again, so it's been right about 3 years.
Yep.
But yeah, when I was here last time, I was working as a regional sales manager for a company. I've been through a few different things in the manufacturing industry. But at that time, even when we taped that video, I kind of knew where I wanted to go, but nothing was said in that video.
Yeah.
So actually earlier in 2016 in February, before we shot our video, I started up ETS, so Engineered Tooling Solutions.
Engineering?
Yeah, it's Engineered Tooling Solutions.
Engineered Tooling Solutions.
So basically I was in an industry, or I'm still in an industry with tooling where, at the time I was an application engineer. I saw an opportunity in that I was always out working with guys that owned rep agencies, which is what Engineered Tooling Solutions is. We're a sales representative agency.
Okay.
So basically we link end users of products with utilizing our knowledge and experience. We link those end users with manufacturers of goods.
Okay.
So I was working with a lot of guys like me, and I felt like I saw a skills gap. I felt like I saw an opportunity. So early in 2016, I started up ETS, and it was always something I wanted to do, but I wanted to wanted the name, I wanted the domain name, I wanted all that stuff to just be locked up, so that it was something I thought of, and I wanted to make sure it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We made that video, and that was always the goal, and we talked a lot about goals in that video, I think, but. It'll actually be 2 years next February that I left my full-time position and have been working full-time for myself with Engineered Tooling Solutions.
Congrats, man.
So, yeah,
all right,
it's been good.
Cool.
It's been good. But yeah, that's the big change, right? Obviously going from
what was going through your mind, like as you were like basically saying goodbye to security, really, and you have a family, right? And it's like so there's like, I think the whole like, I think I can, and then it's like, here it is. So like, what was like going through your mind, like, during that transition?
I feel like I hit a lot of different cycles.
Okay.
Like there was severe belief in myself, and then I've never failed, but what if I do fail? And like you said, I got a wife and I got a child, and we've got this nice house, and we've got bills that are here. We know where they're at. So if I fail, we are only bringing in this much. What do I do?
Yep.
It was very mixed emotions. But the one thing that kept coming back to me was I've never failed. What's the worst that can happen? If I do fail, I'm young enough to rebound.
Right.
And I just tried to change all the negative and turned it all into positive energy, and said, you know what? I will hate myself forever if I don't try
Say
this.
Say that again.
I will hate myself forever if I don't just at least try this. Like, I just knew it. You know, I had to do it. I was so dead set on doing it that I had to do it.
Awesome.
So I did it.
Very cool. So, all right. So basically just the short-term fear versus the long-term regret. You know what I mean? Like, so just kind of, and I'm the king of failure. I mean, like I wish I succeeded the first time around when I tried stuff, but like, so that's the thing, is that you have to fail some way, shape, or form to really grow, in my opinion. But like, like that, I think that is something where those of you watching, like that's every second of every day is negative fear thought comes in, twisted to a positive, forward-looking, concept, and just making sure that it's like turn that frown upside down, like everywhere you go.
You got it. You're in control of how you handle your emotions. So
correct.
If you make positive emotions, then sometimes you can get positive
awesome.
out of it. Then,
awesome.
Right?
And so like those thoughts, those were like the what if I fail? What if this? What if I lose a house? What if this? Like that was like that had to be going through your mind, not even just the day you transition, but like when you're setting up your business and you're setting up the websites. You're working on a website and you're like, well, what if this doesn't work?
No, it was exciting during those times because I still had a full-time job.
Okay.
It was so far off, right? Like think about it. You work on the website. This is exciting. This is the future.
This is my side hustle, bro. This is just my side hustle.
Right. And the closer you get, like the deadline's coming, and you're like, and then just, a lot of anxiety and pressure, and it really did change things. But I just tried to stay positive and get out there with a shotgun start and do as much as I possibly could, and just kind of rely on the things that I learned, and just put as much positive energy as I could into it and see what happens. Awesome. It's the only way you're going to do it is by doing it. I could talk about it all day. It's something I always wanted to do, but either do it or you don't.
If you had to draw out those top three, like what would they be? Let's start with the first. I guess we start with the first one.
The very first thing that comes to mind immediately is it is hard. It's not easy. Like I feel like there's so many times in my life, we've all worked for somebody at some point. There's so many times in your life where you probably looked at someone else or looked at someone else's job or something they're doing. They're going, God, that's so easy. I can do that. Like I could do that, And I was guilty of that. I used to work with the guys and I thought there's no way I can't do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you just a total disrespect for what someone else is doing because you don't know. And
straight disrespect.
It is if you think about it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, man. It's long hours. It's tons of time. It's tons of stress. It's for me it's a lot of travel.
So how do you? So like that's where like for me, and I just know only now like having kids, because before the kids, like travel when I would travel for work. Erica was just getting a nice vacation from having to deal with me, you know what I mean? So, but now, that's what I realized with when you're adding family members into the equation, it's like every second I'm gone, the more I'm in trouble. It doesn't even matter, and like it's like JJ knows I'm gone. Like he always does like crazy stuff when I'm not around. But like, so like how like managing the travel, like you're like living out of a suitcase pretty much, how does that work?
It was a lot. So we kind of got the buffer and kind of ease into that because several years before I started this, I'd already been traveling for work on a fairly regular basis.
Okay.
So, my jobs have entailed travel for the past, 5 years before I did it.
Okay.
So it wasn't new per se, but the child element's always been an issue, right?
Yeah.
So at first it was a big adjustment because let's face it, like with Erica, my wife Christina, when I'm gone, everything's on her.
Yep.
So they're under. Yeah.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Erica.
They're under a lot of stress when we're gone. I get it.
Yes.
So it's. They do a lot more when you're out of the picture, and thank God we have technology because things like video calls and cell phones being around, it at least gives you an element of being able to still communicate and be a part of the family per se, but just not there. But doesn't take away from the stress and everything at home that we put on them though. So it's again, we were able to ease into it. I don't know that I necessarily travel more now than I did. I think it's probably pretty similar. It was a lot more at first. I think when I was just hitting the road because I was just
man,
I had to.
Yeah. So
I've kind of dialed it back because I would say I threw darts everywhere. I threw darts all over the map.
Yeah.
And then wherever they fell and wherever it started to build is where I've started to pay the most attention to. So I'm not doing that crazy, everywhere thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it works. I mean, it does work. It's something that we're used to and we're comfortable with now. Do I want to do it forever? No.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Would it be great, if I didn't have to travel all the time? Yeah, but it's an element that I understand as part of growing my business. So
Yep.
it's just what I got to do.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
It's not easy.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's
Like,
not
it's
easy.
not easy.
It's not easy. So like, are there so on that? It's hard. It's not easy. Like, what were some of like the maybe some surprises of like, wow, I didn't think I'd have to deal with this, or wow, I didn't see this coming. Was there any of those moments?
The first thing I thought about when you said that for me was all the accounting aspects of running a business, tracking your mileage, keeping your receipts, how to categorize things, write-offs, like the whole, things that, I'd never had to concern myself with.
Right.
So it's just time that I didn't know I would have to spend. And then as things progress, you realize, man, it would be really nice if I did this, because then it would help me down the road for this. So you just kind of start adding more and more onto yourself. Mm-hmm. So, we've generated a system to follow up on, any quotes or anything with customers, with orders. We made a lot of Excel stuff in pivot tables to try to track where time's best spent, where money, where people
mm-hmm.
are spending money with us and things.
Yeah.
And just all those things that took time that you don't think about it. It's part of running a business, though.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. That so you use different spreadsheets and everything, and then that. I guess what are some of so I'm big on trying to hack time. Like, how can I got 24 hours, so I've probably been through all kinds of, there's things I do now that I wasn't doing 3 months ago.
Sure.
And there's things I definitely wasn't doing 3 years, talking about the difference between 3 years for both of us has been, maybe a couple lifetimes,
Yeah.
But so is there anything that you do to try and hack, whether it's hack your time or methods that you've found that hey, especially even with the traveling portion, or just tracking all the orders as you're traveling, and just how do you get the most out of that?
So day? Yeah, obviously waking up early is big. Trying to get up early and get moving early is important. I usually, from a time tracking perspective, I try to set up a lot of my trips days ahead or weeks ahead if I can, but typically
mm-hmm.
days, because nobody's paying attention. Yeah, I'll be available 3 weeks down the road. They usually say, let me know a couple days before, right?
Yeah.
So we usually try to keep travel a couple weeks ahead, or a couple days ahead. Unless it's out-of-state travel, which I do a fair amount of too, then I try to keep that a week out. But so just trying to know where I'm going to be, when I'm going to go there. A lot of my time, I'm talking travel, a lot of my time is spent in a car. So what do I have to do in a car? Well, again, thankfully for technology, I have Android Auto, and the Google Assistant is just that's.
Okay.
I don't think I could run my business without Google Assistant. So just trying to use the tools around me. To use technology to my advantage. I could send text messages. I can
mm-hmm.
make phone calls, follow up on orders, and then when I have a 2-hour drive ahead of me, my mind just starts going, I wonder where this order is. I wonder what's going on with that quote. So then all those follow up calls happen and things. So I just try to keep it. There was a time where I was maybe listening to podcasts or things while I was driving, but I've kind of turned that time into, this is the time to make those phone calls, make those follow-ups, do those things. Right. Try to utilize that time as best as I can, because it's lost time otherwise.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's where, so you kind of had, in the podcast, there's all good stuff to learn, and
sure.
So even too, I'll try to before I start driving, I'll start my, whatever audiobook I'm listening to try and get some business or finance or some time hacking book going. But it is it's you have to be on offense always.
Yeah. And that's the big thing especially for a new growing business. Now, as more time's available, it'd be a different story. Yeah. As I can start delegating. It's not just me. Yeah. And being at this point, I do have a full-time guy that works with me. His name's Jason, and we do.
What's up, Jason?
What's up, man?
Thank you.
We do. He keeps very busy. He does great though. A lot of that tracking stuff, a lot of things that are put into the spreadsheets, and some of those follow-ups and things. It's just too much for one guy. all over the place now. So he's been able to rein it in a lot. He's been able to give me some data that's just really invaluable. Again,
Awesome.
Where is your time best spent? Where are the orders coming from? You spend a lot of time and money here, but you're only seeing this out of it. But over here, you're not spending much, and you're getting without someone going through that data. I mean, it's it's tough. So
you feel it's good. Like he's kind of that person that's always outside looking in, to kind of be able to see, because it's like we all have our own personal blind spots.
Sure.
But
we're all good at certain things.
Correct.
So you typically would gravitate to what you feel you're good at instead of not necessarily the right thing. Right?
Yeah. The right thing's always the hardest thing. So speaking of, it's hard, dude. It's hard to do the right, and especially you're talking about it's
not easy.
Dude, it's not easy. It's not easy. But like just, I always think of it too is like, you're not a toddler, but your business is. You're 2, 3 years old. So, it's just so hard because even now it's just like, I can watch JJ, almost 3 years old, but he's trying to act like an adult. He's trying to do, he's trying to do things that the older kids do. So it's just kind of like, that's just true to business, is just, you just don't know what you don't know. But also too, it's just like you haven't developed, the correct, like, enough aha moments to like say, okay, this skill is super important. I'm gonna, every Monday I'm gonna do this, and so just kind of
it's constant
start
evolution.
to like fine tune. And you have a background in being a mechanic, and but it's just like it's fine tuning that engine, and then it's like just when you think you've reached as fast as you can go, you're like, we could probably go a little fast. We could probably do a little better here.
Constant evolution.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Just every time I would talk to you, you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing this now. I went to school for that, and I went, now I'm at, I got promoted to this.
I have always been that jack of all trades, master of none. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've always been motivated by wanting things. Like, and the child in me, if I want something, I get it. Like, that's just how I've always been. If I want, I'm going to find a way to get it.
Yep.
And that's just been ingrained in me since I was young. So.
Do you feel that that's super important in business?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the roots were there, right? I mean, when I wanted things when I was young, it wasn't just handed to me. I worked for it. When I was, I don't remember, 13, 14, I was in middle school, and I had my first, that was back when I had my first cell phone in middle school, when it was a whip antenna. It was Verizon Wireless.
Yeah.
It wasn't Verizon then. It was,
was it Altel?
What did they call it?
It was Altel.
It might have been Altel.
I know, because I had Altel, and then they got bought out by...
There's another one that I'm not remembering.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it right now, but I had it.
Okay.
Dude. It's a Qualcomm phone. It had that like antenna that was like 8 inches long.
Yeah, just had to pop it up.
Yeah.
I didn't even think
you talking to
did it even make a difference?
Yeah. It was terrible.
Dude, it was what you had like after 7 p.m. You like call me after 7 because then like the minutes are free.
Minutes
like
free.
otherwise you had to pay for the minutes. So
before text messages, it's just crazy.
Yeah, no text. Yeah.
But so I did that, and me and the one kid that lived down the road, we would go and we went like remember the newspaper? When there was newspaper, things you read.
Yeah.
So they had the dollar days in there, and people would always be selling stuff. So we went and we looked, and we got a used lawnmower, like a weed eater and everything. And we had like a trailer, and we would trailer down the road, and we got a bunch of accounts of places to go and like do landscaping work. Just because.
That's awesome.
So that's why I had a cell phone when I was young, because I was making money and I wasn't home. My mom wanted a way to contact me. So but like I paid for the phone. I went and did all the entrepreneur work with him, and we had this little business where we had like 20 accounts, and we were making some decent money.
Yeah.
As kids, I mean, it was good money,
Yep.
But stuff like that, I do odds and ends for neighbors, and paint something, whatever, just anything to make money. And I don't know, that kind of has always just been that way. I've always just had that drive to go, and if I wanted something, I got it. So
it's like for me, like that. One of my good friends from college, I remember I was like trying to recruit him. It was probably like 10 years ago to come, like hey, be on my team, come work. And the comment he made is like, James, since I've known you, you're just. I can't remember the exact word he said, but like you're just not someone to take no for an answer. And like for me, like I'm just like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Like I don't force anybody to do anything, but it's just kind of like that was an aha moment for me. Is like I never force I don't push anyone to do anything. I don't force anybody to do anything. But it is like I don't hear no forever. I just hear no for now. Like oh no, okay, all right. We'll follow up in 6 months, right? Like we'll talk next year, right? Like,
sales.
I mean, but I feel like that's something that's something. If you want to be successful in business, you just can't. It's not about overpowering people, and it's not about being pushy and having, like, I hate it, like, people, especially in my industry, it's like everybody's still 100 years ago, like, oh yeah, you gotta bring in the closer, you know what I mean? You don't, like, he sells everything to everybody, but like, that was just never me. But like, it's just like you have to have the
probably to your detriment a little bit, because you could probably be making more.
In the beginning, I think.
Yeah.
I think, but now it's all word of mouth, dude. So it's like, if I had gone about it that way, the more forceful way, then it's like nobody wants to send their friends and family to someone who's just going to be mean to them. I mean, like, I don't know, just going to try and manipulate it. So
bully them into doing things.
Like, hey man, do this, But
oh, the cool kids.
Dude, well, it's cool. You would actually force this guy you brought Sam into my office that one time. You're just like.
Okay.
We have an appointment. Down. He comes in my office with another person. Like, hey, like,
you need to sit down and listen.
James is like, you need to talk to James. So, but no. So like that's the thing too. Is like that was, I think that you can't take no for an answer. But there's a creative and professional way that you can go about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to be persistent in a professional way. So.
And then I say to my dad, because I think of that for myself often, because in my industry it's typically treated very differently too, but I just try to focus on bringing value, because I think down the road, and I don't want to foreshadow too much into the next thing I want to talk about, but I think it makes a ton of sense. So yeah, you're right. I think you did it the right way.
So that's
why you're still around. You've sustained.
I've been doing this, and so 2006 was my internship. So this is over a decade, but that's just kind of, I look at all the people that have come and gone. That, again, it's just, and one thing that I say now too, especially when I'm like speaking at like the high schools or colleges, is just what you're made fun of for now, you'll be praised for later. Like
that's true.
And I didn't even say my own quote right. You'll be praised for forever. So like what I'm getting, like clapped for now at all these and all these awards and this, that, and the other in my industry, like for the first 5 years, everybody's like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Like, that doesn't make you lots of money. It's like, well, it's helping the person, and I'm assuming that they're gonna be my, I want to build that client for life. I mean, that's the thing too. Like, you don't want to be, how can you not have to travel every single day of the rest of your life? It's like, why don't you get some clients that
sustainable business,
that you have a retention rate that it actually allows you to, I don't know, man, like just same thing with me and you, like that's the fun part for me, is like, it's just what's Shayne, in a good way, what's Shayne up to now, like what are we going to talk about now, where's this, where's
you do follow up every 4 to 6 months or every quarter.
I follow up, man.
The answer's never the same.
So, but no, I mean, that's the thing, just staying in touch. And but I think that on this note, 'cause I think this is so important, that like anybody watching this, because I felt so, I just felt so, I felt like a snake when when people, like, the people that are successful in my industry, and they'd be like, oh yeah, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And I would go, it wasn't just at my firm, it was like all other firms. I would, like, if I met someone who was successful, I'd say, hey, can I buy you lunch? And just like all the advice I was getting, like, it was making my skin crawl. Just like, this is, what I mean? Like, and I would maybe, like, in a meeting, I try to like sneak in that, because you just don't know. It's just, you just don't know that, like, well, maybe this is how you're supposed to do it. And then you go to do it, and it's so awkward and weird, and you're just like, I just completely ruined that opportunity, like, like, but it's just to talk to you about how do you maintain your integrity and still be yourself and still be the human, the great human being that you started as day one, but at the same time you have to bring in business. So like, how do you balance, what are some things that help you balance having the tenacity of, I have to make this work, especially in the early phases, but still being a good human being and taking care of people?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like by resorting to always attempting to bring value, that I feel like at some point I've earned the opportunity to ask for more. You know what I mean? Like, I try to focus consistently on making sure that I'm educating and that's a big part of what you do.
Yes.
Just always educating my clients
Yes.
on, you know, the way to do something or the technology behind what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to always bring that value to them. So, you know, again, maybe, you know, asking for the sale at some point is something you have to do, and it's probably
Right.
something I don't do as frequent as I should.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, but I don't know. I feel like it just plays out. I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't have any tricks up my sleeve.
Right.
To you know.
Well, it's the thing. That's what you realize, that all the tricks up your sleeve, they're tricks are bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
we just had Halloween, trick or treat. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want tricks. Like, that's not good business.
Yeah, I don't have a good
Yeah.
answer other than I just feel like it plays out how it plays out, and you know, I try to work with the clients that value, you know, that I bring value to, but that I feel value me and my time, and you know, appreciate what I'm doing for them. And there has been, I mean, I'm a very new business. And there's a couple clients that we fired that I just felt absolutely taken advantage of for what I was giving them.
Okay.
And I've walked away from opportunities that people would think I'm crazy for.
Okay.
But, you know, my time, I just feel like you should work with the people that want to work with you. And that's just the way it should be. I mean, that's how I view it anyway. That might be wrong. That might be very bold and stupid of me, because business is business, people will say. But I guess from a personal perspective, you know, when you pour a lot into something or someone and you don't get it in return, I feel like it's like a relationship. Why bother?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, it's like I said,
cut your losses.
Yeah, and just to kind of just wrap up the whole, it's not easy. You know, key to being successful and burn proof in your business is, you know, like just like every time I ask you a question, like, I don't know if it's right, you know, I don't, and that's the same thing. Like that for me, there's a lot of stuff I look back at. I made decisions based on what my gut instinct was, I mean, just based on what I felt was right.
Yep.
And like, hopefully 5 years from now this pays off, you know. Hopefully, but it's like you have to think, you have to work short term. You have to like get every ounce out of the day short term, but you have to think so long term as how, I mean, like,
I just,
you know,
what you were just saying just made me think of something. That's why I'm smiling, because it just, you know, one piece of advice is, when you're angry, write that angry email.
And don't send it.
Before you send it, read it 3 times and then delete it. Because man, I've been there so many times. I can't tell you. And I just did it today, and that's why it's funny. Because I'm like, man, these people, this guy, you know, and you go and you write it, and you're like, I can't, keyboard warrior. And then you just don't send it. Just like read it a few times, like, all right, I feel better now. You know?
Well, you have to get it out of your system. That's and I guess it was writing it. That Abraham Lincoln used to do that. He would write a letter and then throw it away when he was upset. But like, the one thing I'm always terrified of is like, what if I send it on accident? What if I But
I know, because you leave their name in the subject line, and I've started to just put the subject in, or leave their name.
Dude, send the email to me. I'll know. Right. Like, you just send me the email. I'll know it's not to me, but you can get it out of your system.
I think we just came up with a business idea.
There you go.
Yeah, we should
find your angry email.
Angryemail.com or something like
angry
that. Just send it. Yeah. Just
there you go. All right.
Copyright.
Patent.
Yeah.
What else?
You can't release this video yet. That would be kind of fun, though. I bet people would do that. I bet people would seriously do that. Just event.
Can we write that? Dave, can we write that down? All right, Dave's got it. So we're good.
Yeah, we're good. That's funny.
Angryemail.com. Just send.
Just send it.
I can't stand Susie.
It doesn't matter. We don't need to know what you're talking about. We understand.
You need that out, because it's just, and you need to get it out of your system. Because there are moments where it's just like, especially the time like you're putting your heart and your soul in somebody, and it just kind of, again, it's just hard to not be. I'm like, there's no reason to be upset, James. Don't be upset. On the next one, no big deal, right? And but dude, like, you can't even focus. Like, that's what you'll be like. You'll be in a meeting.
Sometimes
you'll be, like, and it's tough. I'm talking about like with Christina and Eric. It's just like they're talking to you, and you're just like, I freaking can't stand Freddie's. You know, like if Freddie ever calls me back, I'm gonna let him know. You know, but like it just it's hard because you get that tunnel vision, and there's a book, 48 Laws of Power, and that was like before it even got into like the actual laws. It said never make a decision when you're like, never let anger like allow you to make a decision. Like just make like the best decision when you're angry is no decision.
Yeah.
So I've definitely gotten better, but oh my gosh, yeah, man.
Yeah,
I've had to get put in timeout before, so just like.
I get it. That's funny.
It's the passion, man.
Yeah,
we can't turn off. We're just passionate.
I'm like, man, I just
angryemail.com. You heard it first.
Yeah.
Angryemail.com.
I wonder. It's not available. Someone's got that. Someone has to have that.
Well, we're just gonna have to check. You gonna check?
This is IBD first, right?
All right. Okay.
Let's see.
Here we go.
I'm sure it exists. We're gonna write him an email live.
We were just talking about you, and we didn't even know you existed.
Angry Birds came up. Ads cheaper. No, it's a redirect. Interesting. So.
Okay, so.
3.0 in 3 years, will we?
Yeah, so 3.0, he's going to be like a bajillionaire with this angry email app, and it's going to be sweet. So,
but, you know, so many people have done it. That'd be cool. I'm obviously not the only one.
Yeah. Well,
everyone does it.
We'll find out, man. We'll find out. Cool. Yeah. So, thank you for joining us on the It's Not Easy portion of owning a business, starting a business, and then 2, when I know you have, is it Jason?
Jace.
Jace. Mm-hmm. Jace. Thank you, brother. But the biggest thing, but though most people when you start, it's like you started the business, you're working the business, but also more importantly, you are the business. Yes. I mean, you are it. So, and it sounds cool.
Yeah.
But so we'll get into your second and third tips to staying burn proof. So I want to talk more about how cool it is when everything rises and falls on you. So, but thank you for joining us, and we'll catch up with you here again soon.